Hey, what's up, guys? My name is David, and welcome to day 28 of my 90 days journey to create $5,000 per month in passive income. Today, I share my honest dialogue with my realtor, a new idea I have for Airbnb, and an incredible breakthrough through running. First of all, I have an amazing realtor. He does everything he says he's gonna do when he's gonna do it, and I full-heartedly know that he has my best interest at heart. And I would bet my life on it. But lately, there have been some issues where we haven't quite seen eye to eye, such as when I asked him to give me an update and he didn't do as he promised, or if I message him about a question and he doesn't get back to me until the next day. So today I scheduled a time with him to really talk things through. I explained early on that I really appreciate him and I value our relationship, and that I want to continue working with him in the long term, but we just have some misunderstandings that I'd like to go through. And would he be open to talking about it? Of course, he said yes. And then I went on to mention each of the things that wasn't happy with. There were some things that it was my fault that I didn't communicate clearly about. And then there are others where he immediately took ownership and said, oh yeah, that's my fault. So overall, we had a great conversation. And going forward, I have no concern about any other misunderstandings. I think because this is my second time buying a house, I had some unreasonable expectations about how fast things should move. And just tempering my expectations down is what I get to work on next time. But my realtor is really cool about it. He's never told me, hey, you need to be more patient. But after the conversation, we both admitted that our relationship is even stronger than before, because we could talk about such things and still be friends afterwards. And as I continue on my journey to create the $5,000 passive income and even more money later, building quality relationships with the people I work with is extremely important. And today's conversation may seem simple, but I think I can't overstate how valuable it was. When I have conflict with my partners and collaborators in the future, I will think back to this moment on how I resolved it, and I know that we'll be able to find the best outcome for everyone. So that's definitely a huge win. Today I also watched a video from Shelby Church. I'll post the link down below, but it was about how a couple was able to generate $700,000 from their Airbnb listing. And the main thumbnail was a treehouse, so I assumed it was a single treehouse that generated such insane return. But as it turns out, it's actually multiple tree houses, and by charging $500 per night for 6 or 7 different tree houses, that's how they were able to get the $700K in yearly revenue. I had actually been thinking about something similar before, although not as extravagant as a tree house. When my wife and I drove from California to South Carolina, we had stayed at several KOA cabins, and the cabins were a very unique experience. At the house that we are buying, there's 1.7 acres of land, and there's actually already a cabin that's pretty run down. I was planning to improve and maybe rebuild for Airbnb. And after watching this video, it gave me much more confidence on doing that is the right approach. The house we're buying is on top of a mountain, and the scenery is already gorgeous. when you combine that with a unique living situation, such as a cabin or even a treehouse, people are willing to pay big money for it. Even when we are in a downturn, people still take vacations to exotic places, and this will be the place that they go to. And finally, another breakthrough I want to share with you is my unexpected race this morning. I love to run, and I frequently participate in local road races from 5K, 10K, half marathon, and sometimes marathons. I had signed up for this 10K race back in October, and I just remember this morning when I looked at my phone that I have the race this morning. It was one hour from the time that I saw the notification, and normally that's not enough time for me to even prepare and go out the door, and I strongly considered just not going to the race. But thinking to myself, if I had a business opportunity fall in my lap and I wasn't ready, would I turn it down? Heck no. So of course I'm doing this race. So I just did the very basic of my morning routine as quickly as I could. I brushed my teeth, I put on my clothes, I drank water, I got my racing gear, I picked up a bottle of water and headed out the door. And when I got to the registration, they had some trouble finding my bib, my registration, and finally I got it, and I was at the starting line. It was only 5 minutes later when the gun went off, so I made it just in time. I looked around me, and there was no one that seemed like they were as serious of a runner. And not surprisingly, as soon as the gun went off, I was in the lead, and with every step, I could see I was putting more distance between me and the chasers. After about 3 miles, I looked back and there's no one there at all. So I felt pretty good about getting first place overall. But then at mile 5, I was coming up on a turn where I could either go straight or take right. I did not see anyone who was pointing to me which way to go, and I saw a lot of runners who were going right, and there were arrows printed on the path going both ways. So I figured this must be the one, because I didn't see arrows on the straightaway path. I took the turn, and 5 minutes later I realized, okay, I only have 1 mile left, but I already ran this route earlier, and I know if I finish the run, I'll be much over 1 mile. But I didn't want to turn around at that point. I had already lost my lead in the race, and I just wanted to enjoy myself and get a solid training run. I did not slow down, but I followed the course I was already on, and I knew that it was only a matter of time before I end up back on the way I had came, and I would probably have run extra 3 miles by the time I crossed the finish, and that's what I did. Because I shifted my mindset from I gotta win to I'm just gonna make the most of this and see what I can do. I suddenly felt like my legs were lighter, and I was still running at the same pace, but it was taking less effort. I was actually 2 miles before this, it started raining, and the temperature was already in the 50s, and with the rain coming down, it felt even colder. But I had done many training runs in the rain, and it didn't bother me. I kept running for another 2 miles when I finally saw that I was within a mile of the finish line. and there were runners scattered all in front of me, and I would set my target on one at a time until I would pass them, and then I would set my sight on the next runner. I did this until I got to the finish line. There was this girl in front of me, and she was also kicking, trying to get a few seconds faster in her time. And in the previous races, I would be so exhausted. I could not even convince myself to kick, but I told myself, heck, you already come this far. Let's see what you're made of. So I took everything that I had, transferred it to my legs, and I came just shoulder to shoulder with her a few, like 1 second before crossing the finish line. And then in the next millisecond, I just inched in front of her, and I crossed the finish line before she did. It's a very minuscule victory, but to me that meant the world. It means that when the critical time is here, that I am able to execute. And even when I don't know that I have what it takes, by grounding myself and believing in myself, I can make it happen. So that was huge, what I accomplished today, and I will definitely be taking this with me in my future struggles and challenges, because it's these things that makes you stronger over time. And I have no doubt if I keep doing the things that others are not willing to do, I will eventually be successful. Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed anything of this video, please hit the like button, and to follow me on this journey and get notified when I post new videos, please hit the subscribe and the bell icon. Thank you, my friends. I love you. Peace!